भगवान की जय।
From the Divya Bhavya Ram temple at Ayodhya to the Hindu temple at Abu Dhabi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi described this temple and said this is a golden era when it comes not just to the Sanatan Dharma, but he also spoke in glowing terms of the warm ties, the relationship between India and the United Arab Emirates. I'm Gaurav Sawant. We'll tell you about this in greater detail. As always, let's get started with the headlines at 10. Bengal Sandesh Khali women claim absconding TMC leader Shah Jahan Sheikh and his aides abducted and raped women. BJP hits the streets in protest. Farmers remain on the war path. Violent clashes rage in Delhi's borders. Centre urges dialogue. Round 3 of talks at 5 p.m. tomorrow. Five-time Lok Sabha MP Sonia Gandhi takes the Rajya Sabha route, files nomination from Rajasthan. Pakistan People's Party agrees to support Nawaz Sharif's PMLN with Shahbaz Sharif as Prime Minister. Imran supporters continue to protest alleged mass rigging in Pakistan elections. It's a new chapter in human history. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke in glowing terms of India's warm relationship with the United Arab Emirates. He specifically mentioned his brother, the President of UAE, Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, His Royal Highness. The Prime Minister inaugurated the BAPS Swaminarayan Temple. He hailed the India-UAE Dosti, thanked the President. He also recalled his visit to the UAE in 2015 when he proposed the idea of this Hindu temple. Listen in to Prime Minister Narendra Modi talking about the golden era for Sanatan Dharma.
आज यूनाइटेड अरब अमीरात की धरती ने मानवीय इतिहास का एक नया स्वर्णिम अध्याय लिखा है। आज अबू धाबी में भव्य और दिव्य मंदिर का लोकार्पण हो रहा है। इस पल के पीछे वर्षों की मेहनत लगी है। इसमें वर्षों पुराना सपना जुड़ा हुआ है और इसमें भगवान स्वामीनारायण का आशीर्वाद जुड़ा है। अब तक जो यूएई बुर्ज खलीफा, फ्यूचर म्यूजियम, शेख जायद मस्जिद और दूसरी हाईटेक बिल्डिंग के लिए जाना जाता था, अब उसकी पहचान में एक और सांस्कृतिक अध्याय जुड़ गया है। मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले समय में यहाँ बड़ी संख्या में श्रद्धालु आएंगे। इससे यूएई आने वाले लोगों की संख्या भी बढ़ेगी और पीपल टू पीपल कनेक्ट भी बढ़ेगा। मैं पूरे भारत और विश्व भर में रहने वाले करोड़ों भारतवासियों की ओर से प्रेसिडेंट हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद को और यूएई सरकार को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। इस मंदिर ने हमारे प्राचीन रिश्तों में नई सांस्कृतिक ऊर्जा भर दी है। साथियों, अबू धाबी का ये विशाल मंदिर केवल एक उपासना स्थली नहीं है, ये मानवता की सांझी विरासत का शेयर्ड हेरिटेज का प्रतीक है। ये भारत और अरब के लोगों के आपसी प्रेम का भी प्रतीक है। इसमें भारत यूएई के रिश्तों का एक आध्यात्मिक प्रतिबिंब भी है। इस अद्भुत निर्माण के लिए मैं BAPS संस्था और उनके सदस्यों की सराहना करता हूं। अब तक जो यूएई बुर्ज खलीफा, फ्यूचर म्यूजियम, शेख जायद मस्जिद और दूसरी हाईटेक बिल्डिंग के लिए जाना जाता था, अब उसकी पहचान में एक और सांस्कृतिक अध्याय जुड़ गया है। मुझे विश्वास है कि आने वाले समय में यहां बड़ी संख्या में श्रद्धालु आएंगे। इससे यूएई आने वाले लोगों की संख्या भी बढ़ेगी और पीपल टू पीपल कनेक्ट भी बढ़ेगा। मैं पूरे भारत और विश्व भर में रहने वाले करोड़ों भारतवासियों की ओर से प्रेसिडेंट हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद को और यूएई सरकार को बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देता हूं। साथियों, ये समय भारत के अमृतकाल का समय है। ये हमारी आस्था और संस्कृति के लिए भी अमृतकाल का समय है। और अभी पिछले महीने ही अयोध्या में भव्य राम मंदिर का सदियों पुराना सपना पूरा हुआ है। रामलला अपने भवन में विराजमान हुए हैं। पूरा भारत और हर भारतीय उस प्रेम में, उस भाव में अभी तक डूबा हुआ है। ये दर्शन भारत की मूल चेतना का हिस्सा है। इसलिए हम स्वभाव से ही न केवल सबको स्वीकार करते हैं, बल्कि सबका स्वागत भी करते हैं। हमें विविधता में बैर नहीं दिखता, हमें विविधता ही विशेषता लगती है। आज वैश्विक संघर्षों और चुनौतियों के सामने ये विचार हमें एक विश्वास देता है। मानवता में हमारे विश्वास को मजबूत करता है। इस मंदिर में आपको पग पग पर विविधता में विश्वास की ये झलक दिखेगी। मंदिर की दीवारों पर हिंदू धर्म के साथ साथ इजिप्ट की हायरोग्लिफ और बाइबल की, कुरान की कहानियां भी उकेरी गई है। मंदिर में प्रवेश करते ही वॉल ऑफ हार्मनी के दर्शन होते हैं। इसे हमारे बोहरा मुस्लिम समाज के भाइयों ने बनवाया है। इसके बाद इस बिल्डिंग का इंप्रेसिव 3D एक्सपीरियंस होता है। इसे पारसी समाज ने शुरू करवाया है। यहां लंगर की जिम्मेदारी के लिए हमारे सिख भाई बहन सामने आए हैं। मंदिर के निर्माण में हर धर्म संप्रदाय के लोगों ने काम किया है। मुझे ये भी बताया गया है कि मंदिर के 7 स्तंभ या मीनारे यूएई के 7 अमीरात के प्रतीक है। यही भारत के लोगों का स्वभाव भी है। हम जहां जाते हैं वहां की संस्कृति को, वहां के मूल्यों को सम्मान भी देते हैं और उन्हें आत्मसात भी करते हैं।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi also took a chisel and a hammer in his hand and chiseled the words Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which actually symbolizes India's philosophy. I quickly want to cut across to Abu Dhabi, where Akshita Nandagopal now joins us with the latest. Akshita, this temple inauguration and the way everyone came together for this, what's the buzz on ground and how has the community in Abu Dhabi reacted to it, the Indian community and the Arabs there?
Well, in the UAE, what I found very, very interesting here, Gaurav, is that the moment the doors opened for darshan, there were many of us from the media who were there to kind of show what the temple looks like on the inside. There were a lucky few volunteers who managed to go in as well, to be the first few to get that darshan. And then there were representatives from the UAE government extremely pumped, extremely excited to see what it looked like inside. And while they weren't willing to speak to us on camera, when I spoke to them off record, they all said that they were blown away by the sheer beauty of this temple. But besides that, you know, the fact that you're seeing this temple stand in the middle of a desert here in Abu Dhabi speaks volumes of what really both the governments, the UAE government and the Indian government, have achieved in the last few years. It's no small feat, and I've repeatedly said this, that this building, the structure that you see behind me, is perhaps standing testament, is literally the brick by brick that it's taken to build the India-UAE ties in the last few years. And what you have as a result is beautiful, unprecedented a relationship that is respected between India and UAE, much like the building behind me. So in UAE, what you can expect is that while this is a Hindu temple and you have 7 idols inside for people from Hinduism to come here and offer prayers to the deity of their choice, I can tell you that for sure in the next few days, as the temple opens, there's already unprecedented bookings. There are going to be a whole lot of locals who will flock here to just simply marvel at the wonderful, wonderful architecture.
Well, 3.5 million Indian diaspora in the United Arab Emirates, and there would be a lot of curiosity. They've seen it on television, they'd want to see it on ground. We're also told, when we talk about this Modi Middle East Dosti, a large number of foreigners also want to visit this place. Prime Minister Narendra Modi offered prayers inside the Swaminarayan temple. He participated in the first Aarti at the temple. The Aarti, incidentally, was conducted simultaneously across 1,500 BAPS temples across the world. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also took part in the symbolic Ganga Aarti at the temple. The temple has a Varanasi-like ghat with holy water from the rivers Ganga, Yamuna and Saraswati. He also performed a Jalabhishek. The Prime Minister picked up a chisel and a hammer. There you see that piece of rock that had Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam written in stone. The Prime Minister, of course, used that hammer and a chisel in these pictures. Prime Minister Narendra Modi touched the feet of spiritual leader Mahant Swami Maharaj as he inaugurated the BAPS temple at Abu Dhabi. He has been going to the Swaminarayan temple and has been associated with the Swami here, with Swamiji here for quite some time. And during his address, Prime Minister Narendra Modi hailed UAE's President Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan and thanked him for the temple. The Prime Minister hailed MBZ. UAE officials gave a standing ovation to Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his brother Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who played a very, very critical role in the making of this temple by donating 27 acres of land for this project. So UAE was part one of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's two-nation visit. Now he heads to Qatar after the temple inauguration. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Qatar visit is also extremely significant, extremely crucial. This is happening right after 8 former Indian Navy personnel who were held for the past 18 years and sentenced to death for alleged espionage in Qatar. They were released after the Prime Minister's personal intervention. 7 of them have returned to India. The 8th is expected soon. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will interact with the leadership in Qatar, will personally be thanking the Emir of Qatar, because we're told it's the personal intervention and the conversation that happened between the Prime Minister of India and the Emir of Qatar that brought about this intervention and their release and pardon. The Prime Minister's visit is also aimed at deepening bilateral relationship between India and Qatar. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Qatar assumes significance because Qatar has just released the 8 former Indian Navy personnel who were held allegedly on charges of espionage and sentenced to death. They were kept in solitary confinement. There were 8 of them. Now, this situation was extremely grim because their families back home had absolutely no idea. The charges were not declared. As the 7 of those 8 returned to India, I caught up with Commander Sanjeev Gupta and his wife Rekha Gupta. They recalled those past 18 months, and both of them thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, and India's ambassador to Qatar, Vipul, and the entire diplomatic team that worked against all odds to ensure that the Navy personnel, the former Indian Navy personnel, were released. Listen in. With me is Commander Sanjeev Gupta and his wife Rekha Gupta, finally breathing free air back home in India. Commander Gupta, many congratulations, you're back home. Did you think this day would be possible?
Yes, we were very sure from the day one that we would be out. Indian government won't let us remain there. So we were very sure about it.
You were sure that you will come back one day, even though you were in a solitary confinement, even though you'd actually been sentenced to death?
We were in solitary confinement, but only after 30 days we realized that what is happening, we are inside. But after 30 days we knew that Indian government would take us out.
Were you this confident, ma'am? Rekha Gupta, Commander Gupta's wife, also with us. He was in solitary confinement, but these 18 months would have been torture even for you.
I was equally in pain as he was, but I had a confidence in my Indian government, and plus Modi ji hain to mumkin hai, and they had given all the assurance to us that don't worry. They were very supportive all this time while. So I did not have iota of doubt that they are not going to come back due to our Indian government and Modi ji and our Honorable EM and plus Ambassador of India to Qatar, Mr. Vipul.
Yeah. So you were working for this company called Dehra Group in Qatar, and you'd been working there for quite some time. What happened? Suddenly you were taken into custody. Did you know why were you taken into custody?
No, we were not. We had no idea when we were taken in as why we are being taken in. We had no idea. It's been 4 years plus we were working in that company and in Qatar.
So one day the police suddenly landed up, picked you up, and you were taken into solitary confinement
Yes.
and kept there.
Yes.
And then?
And thereafter, I mean, everyone is aware that there was a court case and we used to go in the court and come back. That's what. There was a case against us.
So did you get to hear the details of the case? What were the charges against you? What were you being, charged with?
No, actually, we had no idea as why we have come in. I mean, all this guessing and all, which was we hearsay, which we were hearing, but formally we were not told as what is the charges.
Okay. Ma'am, what about you? What did you hear of? What did you get to know what was happening? And when did you know that they'd been arrested and put in solitary?
I think after 5 or 6 days, Indian Embassy informed us about this, but there was no much clarity on this. It was all told that they have taken somewhere, but we did not have much clarity. And or rest, everything was coming in the news, so we also did not know. Till now, we don't know much about this case. What is this case?
So, as journalists, whatever information we were also picking up, we were told it's very, very sensitive since their lives were at stake and the government was at it. What did you know of the efforts that the government was making, if at all, at that time?
See, at this time, I would. Whatever we were coming to know is through consular access and through family members. So we came to know that MEA is making statements, and through that they were in direct touch with the Qatari government, and all these things we came to know through the statements which were made by the ministry.
You also, you and all the other Navy wives and families went and met the External Affairs Minister, Dr. Jaishankar. You met other officials in the ministry. What were you told? What was happening, ma'am?
Full confidence they had given us. They said, you don't have to worry. We are working on this, and this is our objective to bring them back to their country.
And you were confident because you also traveled to Qatar several times.
Yes, multiple times I've traveled to Qatar, but I was very confident. After meeting our EM, Honorable EM, we were very confident they are going to come back to their country. That we did not have any doubt. They are not going to come back.
So that was very heartening. Of course, this is something about Fauji families, that their morale is always high, even in a difficult situation. It's perhaps brought up with that never say die spirit, is it?
I wanted to say that it is actually the military training which has made me continue for 17-18 months. It was that, original our academy, Ragda Patti, which has made us tough. Because it was a psychological, trauma for all of us. All of us who were inside, physically we were all okay. But as the age, we all were around 50 plus. I'm 56 and we all had some, so to say, BPs and all that thing issues.
Was that looked after?
Yes.
Completely.
Yes, that was looked after. That was looked after by them.
How did you keep your morale high? How did all the officers keep their morale high?
See, almost, at least for me, I was reading books. Some of them were doing, going through the spiritual phase, and they used to do puja and all for, 5-6 hours. TV for a few hours. That's it.
So the former Indian Navy personnel also thanked Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani for his personal interaction after Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to him. 7 of the 8 are back now. The 8th one, we are told, he's free and should be back soon. We'll be tracking that story very, very closely. A quick break coming up next. India Today's Shivarur brings you details of why Sandesh Khari in Bengal remains on the edge. That story and lots more coming up. Stay with us.
You made a visit to Sandesh Khali, which is extremely sensitive area right now, and it was a very emotional interaction that we saw of yours with the women. Some of the women even tied a rakhi on your wrist. What did these women say to you, Governor, when you met them one by one?
I could see desperate women not knowing what to do, whom to contact. It is a frustration all around. What I heard was something which I should never have heard. What I saw was something which I do not like to see again. The honor of women were at stake. Forcible oppression of women, outraging their modesty, intimidating them. Not only them, their family, their parents. It was certainly not a happy situation there. There is a fear psychosis all around. When I went there, I could see hundreds and hundreds of my sisters on the road. They were all wailing. They were looking for some support from somewhere. What they wanted was peace and justice. Shanti. That was a recurring word there. They were harassed, not once, but many times. This has been a recurrent action there. There is no law and order there. That was what they felt. And the situation was very gruesome. I was really touched by the emotional fervor which was there. They told me, all that we want is protection for our dignity, our honor. We don't want anything else. We want peace in society. We want harmony, which was there. Of late, we are under the control of the goons and the gangsters. This was a refrain that I heard everywhere.
इस निमंत्रण और गर्मजोशी से भरे स्वागत के लिए बहुत बहुत आभारी हूं। मैं अपने ब्रदर हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद बिन जायद का भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। हाल के दिनों में मुझे उनसे कई बार मिलने का मौका मिला है। वो सिर्फ लीडर ऑफ विजन ही नहीं है, बल्कि लीडर ऑफ रिजॉल्व और लीडर ऑफ कमिटमेंट भी है। साथियों, वर्ल्ड गवर्नमेंट समिट दुनिया भर के थॉट लीडर्स को एक मंच पर लाने का एक बड़ा माध्यम बन चुकी है। इसमें हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद बिन रशीद की विजनरी लीडरशिप, उसका बहुत बड़ा रोल है। दुबई जिस प्रकार ग्लोबल इकोनॉमी, कॉमर्स और टेक्नोलॉजी का एपी सेंटर बन रहा है, ये बहुत बड़ी बात है। कोविड के दरमियान एक्सपो 2020 का आयोजन हो या फिर हाल में